Hey everyone, it's Dave.
Hey, it's Brandon
You're listening to Davenport's on Sports.
on Davenport Sports Network.
Hey everyone, thank you for coming back, Davenport on Sports.
Yeah, guys, like us on Facebook if you haven't already. Check us out. We got on this day in sports, blogs, polls, every day.
Yeah, you name it, we got it. We also on Twitter, Davenport underscore SN. Check us out, doing polls every day. Did a bunch of polls with the whole Eli Manning situation out east. So, good times, good times. Uh,
Yeah,
we got a pretty special guest on here this time, Brandon.
absolutely.
I'd like to introduce one Miss Ashley Buis.
Hey everybody.
Thank you for coming on.
Yes, thank you
Of
for
course,
coming on.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ashley played around here in Montgomery County. She played for North Montgomery, and she had a pretty successful career there. She went down and played for Vincennes. That's correct, right, Ashley?
Yeah, that's right.
Now, can you kind of give us a quick summary of that whole how that whole recruiting and stuff goes on, like the process?
Yeah. So I guess I started basically, and I know it's different for everybody, but I started getting a couple colleges following me around my sophomore year
Wow.
of high school. Thanks to the help of Gary Donnie, he actually just recently passed this past year. Um, but he did the Hoosier basketball magazine for Indiana, and he was just a phenomenon. He helped a lot of student athletes. So he helped, I guess, just get my name out there, and having my name, a name that people would recognize when they heard it, as far as colleges. So um, I ended up at Vincennes
Yes.
my first 2 years. Now that I'm back on that. uh, so I ended up at Vincennes my first 2 years. Um, And then after that, I got recruited by Oregon. I got recruited by a couple schools, but after I went on my visit out to Oregon, I knew that's where I wanted to be. And then just a season later, I was spending my last 2 years in Florida playing for Stetson.
So, real quick question for you, Ashley. The
Sure.
transition from Vincennes to Oregon,
Hmm.
you're going to a bigger division school.
Right.
What was the change like there?
That was definitely one of the biggest changes as in my basketball career, definitely, because you're going from playing with the type of um, skilled athletes that you are to a whole new level. And it was almost like a culture shock at first. So, like, do I belong here and stuff like that. But I actually remember an interview that I did when I was in Oregon, and they asked me a question. I remember automatically my answer was, like, I wish I could go back and play the game like I know I can now. And it's so funny because even looking back now, I wish I could even answer that again for when I was at Oregon, because your potential as an athlete, and then when it's such a big change, you're just not ready for it all the time. And um, I think it kind of hit me, really quick when I was there.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Hmm.
Speaking of changes, you went down, or you played in Oregon, then you went to Florida. What school did you say you played at there? I'm sorry.
It's okay at Stetson University.
Stetson, yes. Uh,
Hmm.
After that, you kind of went overseas, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah, yeah. I went to Australia.
Now, how was that process like? As far as the recruiting and all that.
You know what's actually funny is one day I was just going through my emails because I graduated Stetson in May of 2013, and it wasn't until I think I got an email in like it was a weird, I don't know, it's just a weird time. It was like November or something, or even sooner, of that same year, um, from like a recruiting place that recruits players to go overseas. And so, I jumped on that definitely. And
Oh, I
then I
bet.
left in that February of the next year, and was there for about 7 months.
Were there any like rule differences overseas than there are here?
Um, as far as the actual game, no.
Yeah.
Um, so you know what? I'm kind of stumped right now. I know there was one difference in the game, and I didn't know it, but everybody else did. And I think it's something to do with being at the free throw line, but I can't remember. I'll have to. I'm
So,
gonna revisit that so I can get back to you on that one.
All right.
all right.
That's funny you asked that though. But
So,
you know what?
go
We're
ahead. Go
right.
ahead,
The
Ashley.
the 3-point line was actually like almost back to where it was in high school. It seemed like too at the gyms that we played at. It's not the same level of like competition, almost not necessarily competition, but I can't think of like the right word that I'm looking for, but it's just the whole atmosphere is just way different than what it is here in the
Right.
United States.
It's almost like it's a different game. Yeah,
It's like a
really.
different
Yeah,
country, really.
I was about to say that. Different country.
Sorry, I had to throw
No,
that
that's a
in.
you were on like that was pretty much like a resort city, right? That was
um
like on the water, wasn't it? Or at least pretty close,
yeah,
right?
yeah, it was about a 10-minute walk to get to the beach. It was such a beautiful place. It's called Coffs Harbour, in New South Wales is where it was, and it was so beautiful. Like I keep telling my boyfriend, I was like, I want to go back there. I want to go back there. So awesome.
Well, he needs to be planning a trip to take you back.
Hey, I agree.
We could start a campaign for that if you want.
We GoFundMe. We can start a
Right.
GoFundMe account.
Oh gosh, don't get me started on those.
Oh no, let's. I want to hear your opinion on him.
But you were
I
you were there for 7 months, right?
Yes, yeah. What?
What do you, I mean? Did you get homesick? Was there any places you could go that kind of felt like home, like reminded you of home or anything?
You know what? I had some really, really awesome teammates that kind of took me in like I was family, and I didn't stay with them. I had my own little like apartment, but um, it. I did get homesick towards the end. I actually came home a month early because our season was over, and um, so yeah, I went ahead and came home early. But for the most part, oh, it was just so beautiful. I just loved it out there. Like other than the little bit of homesickness, it was great.
Oh, we got typing coming in. Hey,
No,
no that. So was there any type of like pre-game rituals you did? Not necessarily in college, but overseas. Maybe with the team or whatever.
no. You know what? It's actually kind of funny because um, not. I don't know if this is like a touchy subject to touch on or not, but I'm gonna do it
Have
anyway.
at it.
So, like here, it's normal for our team to get together for a game and say a quick prayer. So I did that over there. I was like, hey, come on, everybody, join hands, or bow your heads, and I'm gonna say a quick prayer. And they looked at me like, oh, what? Like, you're gonna say what? It was like I was sinning, like trying to say a prayer. So
Wow.
it was actually we all got a laugh out of it, afterwards, but it's not something that we did every game there, definitely. So um I thought it was just kind of funny that they looked at me like I had some type of problem. But no, other than that, we didn't have really a ritual that we did.
What music you listened to before a game? Was there anything?
You know what? I listen to such a weird variety of music. Um, because I'll listen to anything from country to like the most disgusting hip hop you've ever heard in your life. So it's like I guess just whatever that day like I'm kind of feeling like, listening to.
Sure. So there was some Tim McGraw played beforehand.
Right. You know what I mean? You had to bring the Indiana to it.
That's awesome. So you moved to Cal. Did when you left overseas? Did you came back to Indiana, correct? And then
Yes.
what made you move out to California?
It's actually funny. My boyfriend and I vacationed here in May, March. It was March of 2016, and we liked it out here. We liked the scenery, and then he was like, "Let's just move out here." I was like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, we'll do that." And then little do I know, June that same year that I would actually be living in California. Um, but it's a really good opportunity for his work and now actually the work that I do too. Now we both do life insurance and get to help a lot of cool families and some not so cool families, but still get to help them. But no, it's really awesome that, we can share something like this together.
That's pretty cool. Now you and your boyfriend, you guys are pretty big gym buffs, correct?
That's right. Yeah, we've both
I mean,
done a few bodybuilding competitions.
quick funny story. I messaged
Okay.
her about this and trying, you know what I mean, getting everything set up, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm at the gym. This is like 3 o'clock in the afternoon here in Indiana." And I was like, "I didn't expect anything else." I mean, it just seems like you guys. I mean, there's nothing obviously wrong with it, but
Right.
it just seems like you guys enjoy that. I mean, is that something
Yeah,
you
yeah,
guys
yeah.
do together a lot?
Oh yeah. If our schedules don't collide, that's something that we definitely do almost every day, really. Well, not necessarily always together, like I said, if our schedules collide, but if they don't, then we're in there together every day.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And Brendan, I thought you had another question about her
Yeah.
overseas.
Um. No, that was it. I wanted to ask you who your favorite players are, who your favorite basketball players were at least.
College, pro.
Uh, let's let's go pick one college and one pro. Who's your favorite?
I don't know that I have a favorite college player. I definitely don't have a favorite college player anymore. Um, I definitely liked Deladon when I was in college, and still, she's still a great player.
Yeah.
And um, Maya Moore too. As far as male players, let's see. I don't have a favorite college player right now. I would, but LeVar Ball's son just got pulled out of UCLA, so joke.
You had to bring it up, didn't you?
uh, took us
Oh
10 minutes and we were
goodness.
on the ball.
Well,
Oh
he
man.
is out in California. I mean, eh.
Exactly.
They're pretty much neighbors. Like he needs like sugar or eggs, he'll just go to the balls.
Yeah, is that what you guys do? I mean, do you guys
Oh
borrow
man.
off of each other, stuff like that?
No, no, I would never. I'm good. I'll borrow from the store.
So
Oh,
we went there.
that's funny.
Sorry, we had
Right.
to. So your boyfriend, he played some college ball too, didn't he?
Yeah, he actually played football though.
Yes, yes. Now,
Yeah.
is there kind of a bond there between you two? Like since you both are
Yeah,
collegiate athletes.
yeah, and between that and the fitness thing, I think that's what that's like him and I seem to be like almost inseparable. I think that's really what does that for us is we have so much to talk about. I'm sure he can vouch for that. I have so much to talk about. But no, it just keeps things interesting, keeps things alive, and Um, yeah, I don't think that him or I would really have it any other way.
That's awesome. That truly is.
Hmm.
Well, we might have to you might have to talk him into coming on and talking about
Oh,
his time,
yeah,
and
I'm sure he'd love to.
that'd be
He
awesome.
loves bragging about his brother, and and
that
so
that's fine. Uh,
yeah.
so out of everything, your whole collegiate career going overseas, anything you regret?
That's such a funny question. It not really funny, but I don't know why I was like, I wonder if they'll ask me this question, and I was like, you know what? That's such an answer where people are like, no, no regrets, like.
Sure.
But I really do have like a regret of not. This is gonna sound very arrogant for a second, so excuse me if it does, but it's not meant to be.
No, you're fine.
Like I wish, and I kind of actually said this earlier. Like I wish I would have known how good I was, or how good my like I could have been, what my potential was. Um, because I think I held myself back sometimes, and so if I had a regret, I think that would definitely be the one regret I have, is to not stand in my own way with sports.
That's very. I mean, I don't know. I think everybody thinks that. You know what I mean? I don't think it's
Right.
necessarily arrogant.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
Well, thanks.
you,
Makes me
you know
feel
what I
better.
mean. Everybody should have that belief in them.
Right.
So
Yeah.
And you were
Yeah.
so good so young. It was, you know.
yeah,
Well, thank you. Thank you.
like
Thank you.
everybody was talking about you, and I'm like, I remember when she was running around like really little, like running around the
Right.
house. I mean, I'm like, I know I know her. Like, so I kind of have some claim to fame there. I thank you
There
for
you
that.
go.
I appreciate that very much. All right, well, I know
That's
you're kind of
good.
on a time crunch. I guess ultimately, is there anything going on? I mean, out in Cali with you? I mean, anything you kind of going to be doing or anything like that?
Um, as of right now, not really. Brandon and I have both taken a break from the bodybuilding stuff, just trying to give our bodies the rest it needs. And um, I think it was the being an athlete for over 20 years is kind of, eventually takes a toll on your body and your bones. And so we've decided to take this year completely off, and to eat some good food and not be dieting all the time. And so right now it's just, we're going to enjoy some family time. We're coming to Indiana next week, and then, or this weekend actually, and then we're going to his family's in St. Louis for Christmas. So other than that, that's all we have going on.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know you were doing some like insane diets that I would never even dream about there for a
Man,
while.
yeah, you know what? They were in my dreams too, or they were nightmares. It's not always the most fun, but it's actually, I think that bodybuilding came into my life because once basketball ended, I wasn't ready for it to quite be done yet. I wasn't ready to stop competing yet. So this is kind of like a, you know, what's next type of thing. So um, Brandon and I both still have that really competitive edge in us. So I think that's kind of what stemmed um, into bodybuilding.
Well, I mean, I'm glad you kind of found like a voice. You know what I mean? That's pretty
Hmm.
cool. So,
Yeah,
well, Ashley, I appreciate you coming on and chatting with us and everything. Hopefully, we can get you back on sometime soon.
of course, I'd love to.
So,
Yes. Good luck in everything that you're doing. We really
yes,
appreciate you coming on.
Thank you guys.
yes, we'll try getting your boyfriend on too. Have him come on and talk. He likes LeVar Ball, don't
Yeah,
he?
just
Oh,
not as much as I
jeez.
do.
Oh my.
Great, we'll have him on. We'll have a great conversation.
Oh my gosh.
All right, well, thank you, Ashley.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank
Thank
you
you.
guys. Thanks, Brandon. Thanks.
Yep.
Bye bye.
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 Yeah, that's just pretty interesting. You know what I mean?
Well,
Yeah,
that was great.
Ashley, you can hit the red button and it will take you out. Or if you want to stay and
Red
listen,
button.
that's fine. Yeah. Feel free to stay though.
It's about to get ugly.
All right, bye guys.
Bye, Ash.
Bye.
See ya.
Now that's pretty cool. I mean,
It is.
you know, such a small community and someone grown, you know what I mean, growing into a bigger star, I guess you would say. You know, it's really kind of a good story.
Yeah, it's great, and she was so good, so young, man. It was, and I'm sure she's not done. You know,
No.
she's great things. I'm sure whatever she does, she'll be great at. I'm sure of
Yeah.
it. So
It'll be gold. She just
yeah.
her work ethic. Yeah, I mean, at least way it seems from a distance. Seems like she pushes everything. I mean, she's a really good girl. So good woman, I should say. So I truly wish her the best. Hopefully we can have her back on.
Yeah, def.
So all right, let's go on and jump to some crazy stuff that's happened.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
yes.
All right, I'm ready.
Uh the whole New York thing. Let's just go. Let's start with that.
All right.
Did they screw over Eli Manning?
Okay, so when it first came out that they were benching him, the GM had to sign off on that move. So I was
Correct.
like, well, obviously they're all out to get Eli, and they weren't. I don't know. It's a if it wasn't for the Browns having such a horrible season, I would put the Giants right there. They're like right there with them. I think it's just a disaster there.
Yeah, I mean, that whole organization is just imploding. I mean, why would, if you're the owner of a team, okay, Eli's not having the best of years. I mean, let's be honest, but the dude's a Super Bowl champion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he's had some really bad seasons before though. But go ahead.
Oh, yeah, no, I fully agree with that. But if you're the owner, you got a couple more years out of him, at least. Everything he's done for you, why would you let your organization treat him like that? Then just turn around to fire the coach and say, well, Eli's going to start again.
It's crazy, dude. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't really sat down and watched them this year. And since they played the Raiders, I watched them, dude. Ben McAdoo, he looks like the biggest Guido ever.
Yeah.
He's got like the slicked back hair. I guarantee you, he's got like a velvet Adidas jumpsuit, like in his closet for sure.
Does he have the gold chain?
Yeah, dude, I pictured him eating a meatball sub. Like he looked like he was in Donnie Brasco the whole time. I was like, what? But no, he's like so. He just didn't look like a coach. He looked like a sleazeball.
Yeah, he did. And what blows my mind about that whole thing, before the game there was kind of a little echo, little rumors going around that they're going to fire him after the Raiders game. It's a weird situation with a weird coach and everything. I don't see the point of the whole bench in Eli.
Yeah, it was. The whip should have came down once they got word that they were going to bench him and what he's done for the organization. They should have fired him right then, or at least went and had a discussion with him. Because what are they going to do now? They just pretty much said, "Oh, your 210 game streak is over, and now you can come back." I mean,
yeah,
it's just crazy to treat the guy like that.
Yeah, does he leave New York?
A lot of people think he's going to stay. But man, I know what I would do. I would get out of there.
Yeah, I'd probably be going playing in the Sunshine State, Jacksonville. I mean, why not? I mean, New York, they ain't gonna turn around in a season.
No, and I was reading a thing today. It said like there was an article, who can fill the coaching void in the Giants. I literally clicked on it. There was like 25 candidates. Like, we're not going to know.
Exactly.
We're not going to know till after the season. Like, It's just a mess.
Well, you have your normals. You have your, John Gruden's, your hardball, your, even Nick Saban. Every year, Nick Saban's coming back to the NFL. Nick Saban ain't coming back to the NFL. He's making money.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's making bank down there in Alabama. You
And he's
know?
successful.
Yeah. So why would he leave? Everybody says
Right.
he has a, he has to go there and win in the NFL. Why? Why?
Yeah.
I mean, he's winning in the NCAA. I
Yeah,
mean,
there's no reason. Yeah. NFL's not the end all be all when it comes to football.
there was even talk about Josh McDaniels heading to New York. Why? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It,
What would be yeah, who it's not even a desirable job at this point. Look what you're walking into.
yeah. I mean, they're still on the downslope. I feel, and I don't think they've hit that curve to start hitting up.
Right, they're not at rock bottom yet, unfortunately. I agree with you there.
They're not Cleveland Browns level yet.
They're getting there, but yeah, you're right. They're not there yet.
I just it blew my mind that they treated Eli that brought him two Super Bowls. You know what I mean? Like that. It almost kind of reminiscent in a way of how Indianapolis treated Peyton. You know what I mean?
It is. It is. It's literally the first thing I thought of is like, hey, we're gonna move on, and good luck with you. Thanks for all you've done. But dude, I'm telling you that there's Archie Manning. He must have he raised the boys right. And I'm telling you this as not a fan of these guys. I don't. You've known me long enough. I don't care for the Mannings.
No.
I've always rooted against them. But what's going on and what's happened to those guys, it's just wrong.
Yeah. No, Indiana or Indianapolis, they here's the thing. I see Indy's side more because they were going to be paying him like a huge sum of money for him to play, and they didn't know if he was
Right.
going to play. You know what I mean? I get that. There's kind of got to be kind of a agreement between the two, but definitely out of the two, New York screwed over Eli more than Indianapolis did Peyton.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think you hit the nail on the head there. It was, and they were getting what they thought would be a franchise quarterback in the draft and everything. But for the Giants to do what they did, what good is it now?
Well, like you just brought up, kind of, sort of vaguely, with Peyton, they're like, all right, time to move on, all that stuff. They kind of did that before a week in New York. I mean, they were like, yeah, it's time to move. Just kidding. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like, dude, you know what it is? It's like being in fifth grade and your girlfriend breaks up with you at lunch, and on the bus you make up and you're back boyfriend and girlfriend. That's how trivial this is with them.
I was getting ready to text you that earlier. Not the exact same thing, but kind of like that situation. I mean, Eli's got to have that bad taste. I would think he'd want to go somewhere and be like, look, guys, I still got more gas in the tank, right?
Well, and yeah, and well, I mean, at the trade deadline, they were talking about, Eli Manning going somewhere. So I mean,
They need to either do it or don't. They need to either say, look, you're a quarterback, win us games. We're going to have a bad season this year, probably even next year. Or they need to trade him to a team that he can go win at, and then they can get their quarterback and all that stuff. I mean, right.
I I I know these. I know the Mannings have class and they act, how they're supposed to act and all this. But let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Him going and acting like everything's okay and going back out and playing makes him kind of look foolish, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think there's a fine line between class and foolishness in the NFL. Cause
And having absolutely no nutsack.
exactly, cause if that was me, and they were like, look, we're gonna bench you, screw the streak, screw all that. You know what I mean? You've brought them, you you've helped that organization so much, and for them
Right.
to bench you and then turn around and be like, yeah, we're friends again. I think I'd sit out the rest of the season. Oh, my knee hurts
Yeah.
or something.
Right. And honestly, I can't speak for the guy, but when that news came about, Eli probably wasn't like, well, there goes my streak.
No.
He was probably like, what's going on? With us as fans and the media, put numbers on things, but
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure it was brought to his attention, I'm sure, but that's probably not what he probably had no idea, you know what I mean?
No.
What the streak was. So it was just more of like a what's going on kind of thing. And then for him to get emotional during the press conference, and it's just like,
You, you kind of feel. I mean, you feel for the guy, because I mean, it's like, hey, you lost your job for a week, and there was drama there in an already bad organization that don't need that drama right now.
right.
And he's
Well,
not
and
had all his weapons all year either.
yeah, it's like I think Brandon Marshall played 5 games, and Odell Beckham Jr., who's probably the best wide receiver in the league, he played 4 games. So it's like, what did you
Yeah,
expect?
I mean, look, you know your team, unless you're a Raiders fan and you don't know them. Uh,
Yeah, I don't know them.
you you kind of know your year coming in, and New York had high hopes. Stuff happened. You kind of got to go with the flow. It's probably you're not going to go undefeated. You might not even break 500, but yet if stuff happens, you got to understand this team can't. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's a bad situation out there.
Well, it is, but he's 30. Like I said, he's gonna be 37, man. I mean, the clock's ticking for sure. So
Go to Jacksonville. I'm telling you.
I say Nationwide is on your side. I say him and Peyton and Papa John's commercials and Nationwide.
That it could be. I mean, he might make more money that way.
Well, hey, and he'll probably be able to walk when he's 50.
Exactly. I mean, because he is 37, like you said. So, I'm 33 and I can barely walk, get out of bed of a morning. So
I
I could,
just roll around all day.
yeah, uh,
In
that's
my
all I
yeah.
do. I get a little hamster ball and roll around, just go with the motion. So, okay, another kind of a bigger topic I want to talk to you about. Philadelphia Eagles. They were solid all year. They were on a roll. Then they had a huge test out west in Seattle. Kind of give me your thoughts of that.
Well, I mean, I think they're a great football team, and I think they're still a great football team. But when I look at their schedule, I feel like it was their first test of the season, and I'm not fully on board with how Seattle is playing. I'm like, they're seated about where I thought they would be, but uh,
No, I
I,
agree.
I think there's a little bit of growing pains there, and I don't know. It's just they didn't look like the Eagles we've seen in the first 12 weeks.
Well, we did our power rankings today, and we kind of when you sent me yours, and I was kind of going over, you know, I couldn't disagree with it. I mean, I think we got the power rankings pretty tight. But you have the Eagles now at 3 with the Patriots at 1 and the Vikings at 2. I mean, I feel that they dropped big time in a lot of people's eyes. I feel.
Yeah, and well, when I go and look at what the Vikings have done, they destroyed the Rams 3 weeks ago, 24-7. Then they go to Detroit, beat them. Then they go to Atlanta, beat them. I mean, when you start to look at their wins, they've been tested.
Yeah. It, Let me ask this: does it prove more of uh, does it prove more of the Eagles losing? You know what I mean? Like they're not up to par as we thought, or does it prove that Seattle might be a dominant force come the playoffs?
I I hate to cop out on the answer because I think it's a little bit of both. I think Seattle's hitting a stride right now, but I think it's good for a young team to get beat now. It's
Yeah.
better to have this happen now than after the wild card matchups, and lose. I think you can learn from losing, especially when you're young. And from what I've seen up to this point, Carson Wentz looks like to be uh, a great young quarterback, and I think he's going to have to chalk it up to a learning situation, hopefully, and move on.
Do you still have the Eagles winning the AFC?
The NFC,
NFC. I'm sorry. Yes,
they're not going
ignore
to win
me.
that. But, yeah, I'm giving you a hard time. Well, I mean, technically, right now they're second, but they play at the Rams next Sunday. But then they got the Giants, they got the Raiders, and they got the Cowboys.
They lose next week against the Rams. What do you take from
Uh,
that?
I take that's when ESPN and everybody else will jump on with all the question marks next to the Eagles if
Yeah,
that happens.
I,
That'll
I
that'll be big.
I get it. It's one game. Maybe we're me and you we're jumping the gun here,
Sure,
but
sure.
it just man the Eagles. I didn't expect them to go undefeated, but I figured
No,
they'd
and I
play
wouldn't
better.
want my team to do. I wouldn't want my team to go undefeated. I feel like it always backfires. I feel like you need to drop a game before the
Yeah,
before it's time. But
maybe maybe they'll get their heads back in and go on a run. I mean, hopefully that's your last loss. 'Cause, I mean, it's getting towards the end of
yeah,
the season.
I think it like I said, they really only have one big challenge left. And as far as Minnesota goes, they're looking about the same. They got one more tough matchup. They're at Carolina, then they're home against the Bengals, then they go to the Packers, and then they're home against the Bears. So I mean, they got a really favorable schedule as well.
So Vikings, Eagles. They were to play tomorrow. Who would you pick?
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Well, I think at this point, home field is going to be huge. So if I think they go to Minnesota, I have to pick the Vikings. But I think if it's the other way around, I'd pick the Eagles. I would pick Carson Daly looked or Carson Daly
Carson
of TRL.
Daly.
Carson Wentz of TRL. He just didn't look. He didn't have the creature comforts of home. He looked really kind of. He made some amazing plays. Don't get me wrong, but I think if the Eagles have it at home, I give it to the Eagles. I just think I'm leaning on home field this year a lot. I think it's going to be very important.
Real quick, I got off note. I went to type in. I didn't know there's a Japan football league. Totally off the
I didn't
subject.
either.
Yes. Yeah, I accidentally typoed, hit a J, and there's actually a Japan football league. It was great. So
We don't,
go ahead.
do we have to look into? We're going to have to look into that. There's got to be former NFL players playing there. If there's a league, there's
Right?
former players playing in it.
I mean, it's just like the Canadian Football League, eh? You
Yeah,
know,
maybe that's where Leangelo Ball go over there and play for the Japanese basketball team.
they might. He might. I mean, he's not in UCLA anymore. We'll get to that here in a
UCLA.
bit. We'll get here. Yeah, we'll discuss all that. Yeah, our ball love. So, uh,
Ugh.
yeah, I know. Well, you like him. You're
I
a
love
secret
balls.
fan.
I
I know
love
that.
balls. Juggling them,
I,
tasting them.
you had to take it there, did you? That's great.
I did.
Real quick, AFC South. We got the Texans and Jaguars 8-4. Texans 4-8. Colts obviously 3-9. They're done. Whatever. Did you expect the Jags to be 8-4?
I did not. Just because I think we focus too much on who the starting quarterback is and not
Mm-hmm.
the team as a whole. So I did not expect it because I don't think Blake Bortles is that good. But their defense is amazing, and overall Bortles, he plays good and he plays pretty good sometimes, but he plays good enough to get wins. So that's all that counts. But no, I
E-
didn't see it coming.
Eli Manning, if you're listening, you need to go to Jacksonville. I'm telling you, it's crazy for
Papa
him to go
John's.
there. Papa John's. Okay, AFC West. We got a three-way tie with 6-6 between the Chiefs, Chargers, and the Raiders. Did you expect that?
No, and it's like pretty dismal. I mean, 6-6 is not that great,
No.
and they all hold the key. I know. I'm not sure who the Chargers play next, but I know the Raiders and the Chiefs play Sunday.
Yeah.
So that'll be pretty big. And we won 31-30 last time we played them. So, but out of those three teams, I think it hurts me to say this, but the Chargers are playing the best.
Yeah, I know it kills me, but being unbiased and all that stuff, you got to go. I mean, you got to go with them. They're on a
Yeah.
Oakland's on a 2-game win streak, but the Chargers are on a 3-game. You know, we'll see. Chiefs are on a 4-game losing streak. I mean,
They look awful.
who would have thought that at the beginning of the year?
No, the Chiefs looked like frontrunners. I'm sure if we were to go back and go to the first like 4 or 5 weeks of power rankings, I'm sure they were number one. I bet at some point.
They were. They
Yeah.
were talking about them being the team to go undefeated.
That's right.
I mean, they were undefeated till like week 5, I believe.
Yeah,
So
that's what happens when you got a walrus for a head coach.
yeah, just
Get a
feed him-
human.
Why? I mean, the guy, he's nowhere near water. Guy needs water.
Yeah, it's just not safe.
It's inhumane, really.
I'm calling the WWF.
What? Vince McMahon?
The World Wildlife Foundation.
I'm sorry. Oh man.
Are you okay?
Yeah, no, I got choked up. All those animals.
It's not turkey, is it?
Why did you bring up the turkey incident of 17?
Oh.
Just to let everybody know, I choked on turkey at Thanksgiving. It was bad. Obviously, I survived. Kind of. I'm traumatized. It's bad.
He did stop breathing for 2 minutes.
Yeah, nobody helped. That's the thing. Everybody just laughed and watched.
No, we watched for safety reasons.
For safety. Well, I'm glad
Yeah.
my safety was in mind.
I had to call my lawyer.
Well, it was bad. I'm still traumatized. I can't believe you brought that up.
I've been thinking about it. Every time I go to the sink or something, I'm thinking about it.
Is there still
Turkey that
remnants of turkey near the
It
sink?
was dry. That's why, because ham, dude. Ham slides down the gullet.
Dude,
the
I ate
turkey's
like
dry.
10 pounds of ham. Like, I kept going to the ham. Like,
It's the ham's where it's at.
yeah, y'all were watching TV, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to sneak over here and get some more ham. And after about the 90th time, it was gone. So I had to go to
It
turkey.
gotcha. Yeah,
Yeah, it
that's
was
what
bad.
happens.
You'll hear from my lawyer. It'll be a great time.
I called J.G. Wentworth.
If you need your cash settlement, he'll get it to you.
Yeah, I need to cash now.
Yeah, hey, we just plugged him. We need some money. You know what I mean? We need to get our settlement.
I just want to at least sing in a commercial.
Yeah.
My God.
I think I have a good voice.
I have
People-
vibrato.
People say I sound like Sinatra. That's all I'm saying.
No way to have a vibrator. I meant vibrator, not vibrato.
Vibrato, vibrator, it's all the same.
Yeah.
So okay, did you get any of that IU Duke game?
The IU Duke game? I watched a little bit of it.
It was a little while ago.
Yeah, it was a minute has passed.
Tell you
I
what,
watched a little bit of it.
I watched
Man, that was so
I watched it. IU, I tell you what, they gave them a hell of a fight. I mean, if IU could play at that level, I mean, obviously they'd be way better than they are. But they just look two totally different teams when they played against Duke. You know what I mean? And I guess I shouldn't say that because I mean they did give Iowa a whooping the other night.
Well, but there was a point where I thought that they were going to blow that. I really honestly did.
Yeah. Uh, Last night they played Iowa, and you had texted me said they're going to blow that lead. Nah, yeah they are, and man they turned it around and they got the win.
It seems to be a trend this year. The game is almost decided in the last 5 or 6 minutes. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean it makes for good basketball, really.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Whoa,
guess I always enjoy watching Big Ten conference play. You know, your
I do too.
ACC, SEC, they have good. It seems like that's where basketball's at with the Big Ten.
I've always thought it's been there. Personally, I mean, I've always liked the Big Ten over everything else. I hate starting the Big Ten ACC Challenge right at the start of the season and teams going and playing in Cancun, and I hate that.
Yeah,
It's got to
it,
get back to basics a little bit.
yeah, they. It just seems like it's trying to catch as much cash as it can, and I don't want to say it's hard to keep up by all means, but it just you got so many tournaments going on, you're trying to catch them all. Keep it basic. Let these conference team play.
Yeah, and then everybody has like these just a few random conference games, and then it's back to obscurity and stuff, and then it's I don't know. It's just I don't know.
Yeah,
It's too much fun to watch to screw it up. It's a simple process. Just keep it that way.
well, if there's money involved, you gotta,
Yeah.
do that. I am gonna go catch a game tomorrow. Our Wabash Little Giants are playing here in town, so I'm gonna go catch them. Probably post a little something about that. So, but yeah,
Little something.
little something something.
Yeah.
Yeah, Indiana. The next 5 games, they got Louisville, Notre Dame, Fort Wayne, TN Tech, and Youngstown State. I mean, why not just face ITT Tech? I mean, right?
Yeah, UTI.
UTI. You know, it,
Yeah, and you know what? Got to win them.
yeah. What I don't get is you play Duke, okay? You, Here's the thing: Duke beat them 91-81. That score does not determine that game. It was pretty
Right.
tight during. You know what
Yeah,
I
that
mean?
I agree. It doesn't. That score doesn't represent how the game really went. The game was a lot closer than that score. Yeah.
The last like minute and a half, Duke kind of just went off on them. But you, how do you go from Duke? You know what I mean? Number one, playing, you know, a tech college. You know what I mean? Or Fort Wayne. I play some
Yeah.
teams that are gonna challenge you.
Yeah. I don't understand the Fort Wayne and the Tennessee Tech. I mean, I just I don't know what's going on. And there's so like I said, and then they got Notre Dame on the 16th in the Crossroads Classic. Everything's like a thing. It's like what?
Yeah, there's a big fuss around here with the local media and everything about I get Big Ten tournaments going to be played in New York, and they don't like that. I mean, here's the thing: keep these tournaments close to home, and don't have 50 tournaments during the year. I mean, like you said,
Right.
everything. It seems like if there's like 2 games in a row, it's got to be some sort of big, thing.
Yeah.
It's annoying as a fan. I just want to see these teams play. You know, it goes back
I,
with the bowl games and all that shit. So
well, I mean, them playing at MSG. It's on one hand that's like the mecca,
yeah,
that gives them like the grandest stage. But then again, why give them that? Who asked for that? They should be playing here.
yeah,
They should be playing in Indiana. They should be playing in the Midwest.
exactly. That because that's where most of the teams are in the Midwest. I mean, at Penn State and all that, they're kind of out east, whatever. But because like me, I'd love to go watch that. I'd go get tickets, but I ain't going to New York for it.
Yo, forget about it.
Forget about it.
Bobby
Unless
McAdoo. Oh, meatball sub.
the Dice man, I like it. We need to go see Andrew Dice Clay soon. We do.
As long as we don't sit in front.
Why? Let's sit in the front.
Because he's going to be like, yo, look at this fat fuck. Oh. I'm
But
like,
it'll be
no.
great. It'll be great.
No, I'm sitting in the corner. I'm sitting in the corner in the dark, and I'm just going to watch.
Okay, so on our bucket list, we got a Raider game out in Vegas and
Yep.
an Andrew Dice Clay show.
That works.
If I can do those two, I'll die a happy man.
You could call it your bucket list. Oh!
God,
I would go see him, dude. I would go see
I would
him.
in a heartbeat. I would. Let's plan it. I'm
All right.
down.
Well, there's a couple places like halfway, like Maryville always has people, and that's like a midway point.
Yeah. We just need to keep. I'll Google it after we're done here. Google. We'll get on there. I'll find us. I'll find us a Dice show. That's who we need
I
on
think-
here. I mean, really.
Yeah, I think he stays in Vegas a lot now.
Yeah. I seen where he like gave up smoking and all that stuff. Like, but he has like a cigarette. Like this was 2 years
Yeah,
ago.
He carries one with him, I think, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he could be back to smoking again. I don't.
At least he's not vaping.
No, exactly. Well, he might.
Dice don't vape.
He'd. I always loved watching his shows. He'd have the Marlboro Red 100s in a soft pack. That way he got that extra little bit. he was
Oh
a
my
bad
gosh.
influence. Anyways, back. Let's get off our dice kick.
Yeah.
Michigan State. Did they win the Big Ten this year?
Oh, man.
They're ranked number 3 in the nation.
Oh, man, I hope not. I mean, not to sound bad, but I freaking hate Michigan State. I hope not.
Well, I mean, majority of people don't like Michigan State. They like Michigan.
They look pretty good, though, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to. I think Duke could beat them. I do. But Sunday they played Nebraska. They killed them 86-57. I mean, yeah, it's Nebraska, but University of North Carolina, they beat them 63-45. UNC's ranked 11.
Yeah, well, and Duke has beat him. It was early in the year, but it was the second game of the season.
Yes,
in the
yes,
State
it
Farm
was.
Champions Classic.
Yeah, exactly. My
They
bad.
won.
I didn't check that one out.
I thought that I thought they had, but I wasn't sure. But
Yeah, after I said
mean,
it,
it's-
I was kind
but I mean, as far as the Big Ten goes, they're probably the best team right now. Unfortunately, they're good, man.
well, I mean, they did beat Stony Brook, 93-71. I mean,
Well, everybody's on the Miles Bridges, and I mean they're good, and Tom Izzo, and they're good, man. They're good.
No, I agree. What about Purdue? How you feeling about them?
I'm back on my Purdue bandwagon.
Dude, no, I agree. I really like that Haas. I mean, that dude can play.
Yeah, Ivan Drago. Yeah,
Yeah, I must break you.
yeah. If he dies, he dies. No, they look good. I think they have a pretty good schedule coming up. They got Valpo, IUPUI, Butler, Tennessee State, Lipscomb. Yeah, so I mean, you win those. You win those. Their next 4. Wait, 5, 6. No way. They've got like a super big time homestand coming up. Like they play their next several at home. So I like them, man.
Yeah, no. Speaking of a homestand, Pacers, they kicked off theirs yesterday six game, all in Indy. They got the Bulls, Cavs, Nuggets, Thunder, and Pistons. That Thunder game, Paul George is coming back. I mean, what did they come out at there? You know what I mean? Out of that six game, they beat Knicks, so they're 1-0 already.
Oh man, I don't think they can beat the Cavs.
You don't think that young team could beat them?
I don't think so.
Because when they're clicking, they're clicking. And Cavs are on a huge win streak now. But when does that end? I mean, does it end in Indianapolis Friday?
I don't know, man.
I mean, they should beat the Bulls. Let's be honest. They should beat the Bulls.
Yep.
Okay?
Yeah.
So they're 2-0. Cavs 2-1. We'll give it to the Cavs.
Okay.
Nuggets.
That's like a push. You know what I mean? That's tough.
Yeah. We'll say we'll give it to them. We'll give it to them. Let's say they're clicking. I mean, if they beat the Cavs, they should beat the Nuggets. But
yeah,
we'll say 3-1. Thunder, man, that crowd is going to be. I mean, they're playing good ball. They're playing better ball. I feel when Paul George was here. So that arena is going to be crazy.
Yeah, and Oladipo's got something to prove too. I mean,
exactly.
That's his old team, and he's got to show them that he was ready to be the number one guy on the team. You know,
that's going to be a huge game. I think I'm calling it now. I tell you what, me personally, I could see him going with one. I think they could beat the Pistons. I could see him going 5-1. Cavaliers being the loss.
With the Pistons, they're gonna have to push the ball. I think they're gonna have to run on the Pistons. If they play a slow game, I think. I think I like the Pistons a lot. I like Drummond. I mean, everybody. But yeah, that's gonna just good games. They're not. You know, when these teams come to town now, that the Pacers aren't just gonna roll over and get stomped. They're gonna play. If they get beat, they're not going to get beat by 20.
Dude, the Indianapolis, it seems like, even if they lose, this Pacers team, to the very end, are fighting to win. They could be down 20, and they're still fighting. I think that sells here in Indianapolis. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
They understand, they're not the Golden State. They're not the Cleveland Cavs. They're not going to be going to the finals every year. This town just wants a team that's going to fight for wins and for them. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely.
So we'll see.
I agree.
I said, I think they said the last time the Pacers had a homestand like this was like January of 2007.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's like 2 weeks long. I mean, most NBA teams don't get that luxury. So, I don't know.
Usually it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Usually it's teams going on the road. I know, like the Spurs used to go on the road forever when there was like this big rodeo. The Lakers, whenever the Grammys were going, they had like a 8-game, road thing, and it's like, but to be 6 at home, and this is the perfect time to make a move up in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, it's time to make a stand, and because then their next away game, Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah.
Then they got to play the Celtics at home, though.
That'll be fun to watch.
Yeah. It depends on how these next 6 games go. I mean, if they end up blowing up and they're 0 1 and 5, it might be a little tough, man. So, speaking of the NBA, okay, one LeVar Ball brought out his boy, from what I understand, because of that whole incident in China, brought him out of
one night in China.
One night in China. Okay, he didn't last long there. He
No.
he pulled him out to prepare him for the NBA. What team in their right mind is going to draft him?
The Rochester Royals? No, nobody is. He says he's going to get him prepared for the NBA. How on earth are you going to do that?
Yeah, well, his big thing is he wants all his boys playing for the Lakers. All his boys ain't gonna be playing for the Lakers. There's no way.
Why wouldn't he want them playing for a winning team?
Yeah. Me and you were texting back and forth the other night. You know, Lonzo, he's not going to be the star for LA. I mean, am
He's
I
not going
wrong?
to be the star for anybody. No, he's not going to be the star for anybody.
Where do you see him in 5 years?
Not in LA. And the way his dad's using him anyway. The ball boys look like they're being held captive.
It's like China
And they
all
all
over again.
they all look like they're going through this weird like stage of puberty too. If you look
Yeah.
at them, they all look like I don't know what's happening to my body. They just look like weird. But no, I don't know, man. Here's what I would do. Being the dastardly dude I am, I'm using my son to get my stupid shirts and my shoes, trying to get that off the ground, making a mockery of the game. Have him go to a contender, play sparing minutes, come off the bench, whatever he's got to do, and that's how you're going to get successful. Just because you're in LA isn't automatically going to make you successful. Sure, you got a huge audience, but you stink.
Yeah. You know, sign as low as you can contract and try getting on like a Golden State.
Yeah.
And the dad needs to just shut his mouth, watch games from home, and cheer his boys on from there. Instead of being a nuisance behind them, you know what I mean? Causing all this ruckus and drama. Because that's all LA's getting right now is that bullshit drama.
Yeah, you know what? And dude, I didn't know this, but till like this past week, they call LeAngelo, they call him Jello. That makes me madder than anything.
Oh my god.
But I want to talk real quick. Like, go ahead.
No, I just. Could you imagine being that age and having your dad like be the way he is? You know what I mean? Like, he gets more TV time than these boys. I mean, it's all
I've
about
never seen
him.
I've never seen the kid smile.
No, but LeVar's over there, thumbs up. You know.
Yeah, I would put on a Linkin Park album, put on Mrs. Doubtfire, grab my belt, and be done with it.
Yeah, I agree.
But
I'm
no,
with
dude,
you.
he's a freaking huge distraction.
Yeah.
I was seeing that the Laker games, there is on the baseline of the visiting side bench, there is like kind of like I don't know what you call it, a safe place, a media-free area where most of the celebrities, Will Ferrell, I know sits there, Andy Garcia, Anthony Kiedis, Red Hot Chili Peppers, but it's a place where friends, family, and bigger celebrities can sit and not get bothered by the press or fans and still enjoy the game. And this asshole is bringing like press and shit with him.
Yeah. You know, before the draft, he was sitting there, oh, you know, Magic Johnson, oh yeah, it's just all show. He ain't, you know, that ain't him. It's all for the camera. Well, it's not looking like it. I mean, he's doing what you're saying he wasn't gonna do.
Right.
I don't know. It's a huge distraction. It's a distraction LA does not need.
No, and it's getting to the point where stuff like that's starting to overshadow what's happening on the floor because what's happening on the floor is so bad that this is the thing now. You go to the games to watch this sideshow.
Yeah, no, I agree. Now, before I interrupted you there, you were going to say something you want to touch base on.
I touched base on it. I touched myself, touched base. Now, I was wanting to talk about that because him bringing the press because they're calling it the LeVar Ball rule, but that's been a rule because you're playing in LA, you're not playing in Milwaukee, so
Yeah.
you're going to have people, celebrities there, and they want to just enjoy the game. So that's their little section, kind of, and he's just, dude, they're going to have him out of there. He's going to be in like section 238, row double Z
Why
in
don't
like
they
a
ban
couple
him?
weeks.
Why don't they ban him from the arena?
Big baller brand ban?
Yeah. Quadruple B. I,
Well, it's going to come to the point where they're going to have to do something about it.
yeah.
I mean, obviously, rules don't apply to me. Those
Yeah.
rules don't apply.
Want my $1,000 shoes?
Yeah. See this shirt?
Yeah.
It'll be yours for $35.99.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'll
It's
buy.
my brand. It's his brand.
I know, but I'll go find like a potato sack and wear. I'm good. I'll go shirtless. Nobody wants to see this shirtless.
Dude, who would have the balls to show up to a professional sporting event trying to hawk their ridiculous brand of attire? I'm
Yeah.
surprised the NBA hasn't banned him from the arena.
They shouldn't, man. Is it? I mean, I haven't seen really the statistics, but is it? Are people liking it? I mean, because obviously something's got to be going good because they haven't.
I think LeVar Ball right now he's more popular than Jared Fogle, and that's it.
That's not good. That's
No,
not
it's
good.
bad.
That's bad. That you want to be above that, not below it. Trust me.
Right. Whoa.
Whoa. All right. Well, I think this is a good stopping point. we
Yeah.
yeah.
Big baller brand.
All right. Well, hey, thanks everyone. Thanks again for Ashley coming on and talking. Definitely like to have her back on.
Dude, she was awesome. She was great.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, hey, thank you for listening to Davenport on Sports, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.